My name is Marlon Rabenreither. The project's called Gold Star.
And where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles.
When did you start making music?
I've been doing it for a long time, since I was a teenager. But I think only writing songs like seriously for for like 5 years or so.
Who did you listen to growing up?
I mean everything: the Beatles, Velvet Underground. Those are big ones, but all kinds of stuff.
How did you get started?
My parents were musicians. They're pretty creative, and I think it was just kind of always around, just kind of just made sense.
What felt like your first break?
I don't know. That's a good question. Nothing. I don't think there's like a first break. I think everything is always dependent on the people that kind of support you and believe in you, whether it's fans or people you work with, and I think those are all. It's a bunch of. It's a long sequence of first breaks. I think to come as well.
What life events have impacted you and your music the most?
I think my friendships and the kind of the stories that I see, and the kind of ongoing things. I think it's all the cities that I've been to, the people I've met, and everything I gather from that. I think that kind of all influences me a great deal.
What's the story behind the name Gold Star?
It was a recording studio in Hollywood. It was a Phil Spector studio. Like Brian Wilson worked out of there, and I like that it kind of is a little bit about that, is interested in that, and how it's from Hollywood, as I am, and I mean it means a lot of things. I think it's open to interpretation, really.
So tell me a bit about your album Uppers and Downers that's coming out now.
It's 12 songs. I think they're all like distinctly different. And the idea was that there would be some very kind of slow, somber songs, as well as some upbeat, kind of more rock and roll songs. Kind of had a good contrast between these kind of moods, really, and ideally like everything in between, and just basically the highs and lows of life. Try to reflect that through these 12 distinct songs.
What are some things that are important to you like to address through your music?
It's just I think I tend to just kind of address my own little world, really, like my own kind of thoughts, and like I guess just real stories, just like of whether they're my experiences or of my friends. So I think just to kind of tell stories in that sense of just, even if they're really small kind of interactions, or like stories about like a neighborhood, like something just honest and simple in a way. I think that's something I try to address.
Who would you most like to collaborate with, and why?
That's a interesting question. I'm not, I'd love to like pick like somebody like Paul Simon's brain, like just to see what his thoughts on songwriting are, I think somebody who kind of has been doing it for such a long time, it's like, how do you continuously do that? How do you keep growing as an artist, I guess? There's a lot of things I'd be interested in knowing.
What are your interests and passions outside of music?
I like reading a lot, and I'd say that's a big one. I like support, whether it's my own music, I like supporting other music and going to shows, and I'm fond of books. So those are the big two, I think.
What's next?
This record comes out, Uppers and Downers, and I have a record release show in LA on the 13th, and then be touring the East Coast in Europe throughout October and early November. So looking forward to that.